We tend to imagine a medieval castle as a place of banners, feasts, and noble confidence. Stone towers rising cleanly against the sky, long tables heavy with food, knights moving through torchlit halls as if history itself were made of ceremony. But step closer, and the image shifts. The castle was not built for comfort. It was built to control space, movement, and people. Once inside, you rarely left without permission. Most days inside these walls were shaped less by glory and more by cold stone, limited resources, and a constant awareness that security always carried a cost. The castle was not simply a symbol of power. It was a working mechanism designed to contain, protect, and control. It stands on a rise above the surrounding land, not for beauty, but for visibility. From here, roads can be watched long before travelers arrive. River crossings are monitored. Movement across fields becomes information. Height is not decoration. It is surveillance made permanent in stone. The outer walls are thick and layered, packed with rubble and mortar between dressed stone. They are not smooth monuments, but defensive instruments. Arrow slits narrow toward the outside and widen within, allowing archers to move and aim without exposing their bodies. Every angle anticipates danger, even during years of peace. For the people living inside, those walls were protection. But during plague or famine, they could become a trap. Cross the drawbridge. It creaks beneath weight, suspended above a moat that rarely resembles the clear water of paintings. Often it is stagnant, fed by diverted streams or rainwater, collecting refuse and animal waste. On warm days, the smell drifts upward, mixing with wood smoke from kitchen fires. Defense requires water. Water becomes another problem to manage. Inside the gatehouse, heavy wooden doors reinforced with iron stand ready to close at the first alarm. Above them, openings in the ceiling wait silently. In war, boiling water, heated sand, or stones could be dropped through them. Even in calm seasons, the architecture speaks in quiet threats. Move inward. The courtyard is uneven packed earth mixed with straw to control mud. Chickens scatter between servants carrying buckets from the well. Dogs bark. A blacksmith's hammer rings against iron with steady rhythm. This is not decorative nobility. It is contained industry. Timbered buildings press against the inner walls. Storehouses, workshops, stables. Horses define the air here. Manure, leather, damp hay. Even the Lord breathes it. Look up at the keep. It rises as the strongest structure inside the walls, a final refuge if everything else fails. Lower levels hold few windows. Thick stone traps the cold. In winter, heat from hearth fires struggles to reach corners of rooms. Stone absorbs warmth slowly and releases it reluctantly. Comfort exists, but physics limits it. Climb the narrow spiral staircase. The steps turn clockwise as they rise, a design that favors defenders descending with swords in their right hands. Attackers climbing upward find their movement constrained by the curve of the wall. Even architecture chooses sides. At the top lies the Great Hall, the social and administrative heart of the castle. Long tables stretch across the room. Rushes cover the floor, replaced only when they become too saturated with spilled food, ale, and daily residue. Beneath fresh layers lies a quiet history of stains. Those layers were rarely fully cleaned. Food scraps, animal droppings, spilled ale remained beneath fresh rushes for months. Cleanliness was relative. survival came first. Morning light filters through narrow openings covered with shutters or oiled cloth rather than glass. Drafts slip through every gap. Smoke from the central hearth curls toward an opening in the roof, though much of it lingers. Eyes sting. Clothing absorbs the scent. Breakfast is simple. Coarse bread, pottage made from grains and whatever vegetables are available. Salted meat, if stores permit. Fresh food depends on season and supply routes. Preservation is a constant concern. Spoilage is an invisible adversary. Servants move quickly, rarely meeting the gaze of their superiors. Many are born into service families. Positions pass from parent to child, much like land outside the walls. The castle organizes not only space, but destiny. A servant could spend an entire lifetime inside these walls and never once sit at the high table. Beyond the hall lie private chambers. Tapestries hang along stone walls, not only for decoration but for insulation. They soften echoes and trap thin layers of warmth. Behind them, drafts still find their way through cracks. Privacy remains relative. Even in noble rooms, attendants sleep nearby. Guards stand outside doors. Messages pass through corridors at all hours. The castle functions simultaneously as residence, fortress, and administrative center. Descend again. Lower rooms store barrels of ale, sacks of grain, smoked meats, and salted fish. Inventory determines survival. A failed harvest or disrupted supply route can transform the castle from symbol of strength into a confined space of rationing. Walls protect, but they also isolate. There is a chapel within the complex. Candles flicker before painted saints. Prayer structures the day. Faith offers comfort. But it also reinforces obedience. To question the order of things is not only rebellion, it is sin. Power here is understood as divinely sanctioned. Questioning hierarchy risks more than social consequence. Kneel for a moment. Cold stone presses through fabric and skin. Wax and damp air mix in the stillness. For many within these walls, prayer is not abstract devotion. It is a request for protection from illness, famine, or sudden violence. Outside the keep, the kitchen operates constantly. Large hearths burn with logs hauled from nearby forests. Cooks prepare meals for dozens, sometimes hundreds. Heat becomes intense near the fires, yet step outside and the chill returns immediately. Water must be carried continuously from wells or cisterns. During siege, water becomes central anxiety. Without it, even the strongest walls fail. The stables are busy before midday. Grooms brush horses and repair harnesses. Knights train when space allows, practicing with sword and lance. Armor is heavy and restrictive. Beneath polished surfaces, bruises and sores develop from long use. Training is not ceremony. It is preparation for a world where disputes often escalate into armed conflict. Move toward the wall walk. From here, the surrounding land spreads outward. Fields divided by hedges. Villages scattered at a distance. Peasants work under obligation to the Lord, their labor filling the castle's stores. In return, they receive protection, at least in theory. In practice, during raids or war, many remain exposed beyond the walls. The system is mutual and unequal. Feudal bonds tie land, labor, and military service together. Rent may be paid in crops, coin, or days of labor. A poor harvest creates debt. Debt deepens dependence. Each layer of society rests upon the one below. The system works because everyone depends on it.
and everyone is confined by it.
Afternoon light shifts across the courtyard. Children of noble families receive instruction from tutors or clerics. They learn letters, prayers, and expectations of rank. Daughters prepare for alliances through marriage. Sons prepare for leadership or warfare. Servants' children learn by observation, carrying smaller loads, tending smaller fires, absorbing roles early. Illness moves quietly through these spaces. Crowded quarters allow coughs to spread. Waste disposal is inconsistent. Cleanliness exists, but without modern sanitation. Outbreaks can thin households quickly. Rank offers better diet and space, but not immunity. Stone walls trap people together when disease arrives. When sickness spreads, gates are often sealed. No one enters, no one leaves. As evening approaches, torches are lit. Light is limited. Candles are costly. After dark, movement slows. Guards take positions along walls and gates. The fear of fire remains constant. A single spark in a wooden roof can spread rapidly. Water buckets stand ready. The castle never fully sleeps. Rotating watches ensure someone is always awake. Supper gathers the household once more in the great hall. Seating reflects hierarchy. Better cuts of meat move upward. Simpler fare remains below. Conversations remain measured. Alliances are negotiated carefully. Even entertainment reinforces loyalty and shared identity. When the hall empties, servants clear tables and spread ash across damp rushes. In private chambers, heavy curtains surround beds to trap warmth. Drafts still move along the floor. Somewhere below, a guard coughs. A horse shifts in its stall. The castle settles, but does not relax. Thick walls protect, yet they also confine. Movement follows rank. Access follows permission. Even the lord answers to obligations above him. Freedom exists in layers, each pressing gently on the one below. Morning returns, not with triumph, but with repetition. Wood to chop, bread to bake, accounts to tally, patrols to organize. From outside, the castle appears timeless and secure. From within, it functions as a living mechanism, balancing protection and pressure. Its beauty is real, so is its weight. The walls may be stone, but the real architecture is hierarchy. Stand once more on the wall and look outward. Fields, villages, distant forests, lives unfolding beyond the defenses, yet tied to them through labor, duty, and expectation. The castle concentrates power and distributes obligation. It offers safety, but always at a cost measured in work, hierarchy, and constant readiness. As we step back into our own time, the stone dissolves, but the idea remains. Structures still shape space. Protection still carries a price. Systems still define movement in ways often unnoticed. What place should we enter next, and what hidden structure will it reveal?